The sun was shining brightly that Saturday morning, and the air was filled with a sense of excitement that seemed to buzz everywhere. Lily, an 8-year-old girl with sparkling brown eyes and a wide smile, woke up earlier than usual. She had barely slept the night before, tossing and turning with excitement. Today was not just any day, it was the day she would finally see Michael Jackson live in concert. For months, she had been counting down, marking each day on her little calendar with a bright red pen. And now, the wait was finally over. Lily jumped out of bed, her tiny feet padding across the floor as she rushed to the window. Outside, the morning was calm, with the sun glinting off the trees and the streets slowly coming alive with the sounds of cars and people heading about their day. But Lily barely noticed any of it. Her mind was entirely focused on the concert. She had watched countless videos of Michael Jackson's performances online, memorized his dance moves, and even practiced them in her living room with her small collection of sequined gloves and sparkly jackets. Today, she would finally see him in person. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, were in the kitchen preparing breakfast. The smell of pancakes and syrup filled the house, but Lily hardly had an appetite. Instead, she hopped from one foot to the other, her hands clapping together with glee. "Mom! Dad! I can't believe today's the day!" she exclaimed, her voice bubbling with joy. Her mother smiled warmly and knelt down to hug her. "I know, sweetie. You've been waiting for this for so long. Are you ready?" "I'm more than ready. I've got my jacket, my hat, my shoes." She had even made a little bag to carry her autograph book and a pen, hoping she might get a chance to meet Michael Jackson himself. Her father ruffled her hair affectionately. "Well, let's make sure we eat something first. You're going to need energy to dance and sing along with all your favorite songs." Lily nodded but barely touched her breakfast. Every few seconds, she would glance at the clock, counting down the minutes. The family car was already packed with snacks, water bottles, and their tickets safely tucked in an envelope. Mr. Thompson reminded Lily to wear her comfortable shoes because she would be standing for a long time. Lily rolled her eyes playfully but obediently slipped on her sneakers. By mid-morning, they were on their way. The city streets were slowly filling with cars heading to the stadium, and Lily's excitement grew with every passing block. She pressed her face against the car window, trying to spot other fans. People were wearing colorful outfits, sequined jackets, and hats, all in honor of the King of Pop. Some were holding banners with messages like, "We love Michael," and "Best show ever." Lily waved at everyone she could, imagining she was part of a massive family all brought together by music. Finally, they arrived at the stadium. The moment the car stopped, Lily could hear the faint sounds of music and cheering from inside. Her heart pounded in her chest. She grabbed her mother's hand and practically skipped toward the entrance, her excitement barely contained. Inside, the stadium was a dazzling spectacle of lights and colors. Giant screens displayed images of Michael Jackson, and the stage was set with shiny decorations that seemed almost magical. Fans were everywhere, singing, dancing, and laughing. Some were even dressed like Michael himself, complete with hats and white gloves. Lily's eyes widened in wonder. She had never seen anything like it before. She let go of her mother's hand and twirled in a small circle, taking it all in. "Mom, Dad, look at this. It's amazing," she exclaimed. Her parents smiled, happy to see her so full of joy. They found their seats, which were close enough to the stage that Lily could see every detail. She could see the glitter on the costumes, the lights flashing in rhythm with the music, and the expressions of pure happiness on the faces of the fans around her. As the lights dimmed, the crowd erupted in cheers. Lily's heart skipped a beat. She clutched her father's arm tightly, her eyes fixed on the stage. A hush fell over the stadium for a brief moment, as if everyone was holding their breath in anticipation. Then, with a burst of music and energy, Michael Jackson appeared. The crowd went wild. Lily screamed and jumped up and down, her hands in the air. This was the moment she had been dreaming of, for months, maybe even years. For the next hour, Lily was completely absorbed. She sang along to every song she knew, clapping and spinning in her seat whenever the music made her heart race. Her parents watched her with smiles, seeing the pure happiness on her little face. Around her, people of all ages were dancing and singing, united by their love for music. It was like stepping into a dream, one that Lily never wanted to end. During one of the slower songs, Lily sat quietly, her eyes still glued to the stage. She felt a strange mix of calm and excitement, as if the music was wrapping around her heart like a warm blanket. She thought about how much she loved Michael Jackson, not just his music, but the way he inspired people to be brave, to dance, and to dream big. She imagined herself performing on a big stage someday, just like him, and she felt a little spark of hope and determination in her chest. The concert continued, each song more exciting than the last. Lily clapped, cheered, and even tried to mimic some of the dance moves from her seat. Her parents laughed, enjoying her enthusiasm and energy. For Lily, this was more than just a concert. It was a celebration of everything she loved, everything that made her happy. But amidst the music and excitement, there was also a sense of togetherness in the stadium. Fans shared smiles, sang together, and celebrated their shared love for the King of Pop. Lily noticed this and felt a warm sense of belonging. She was part of something bigger than herself, a community united by joy and admiration. By the time the concert was halfway through, Lily was completely immersed in the experience. Her small hands were sore from clapping, and her voice was hoarse from singing along. But she didn't care. Every second was magical. Every note felt like it was meant just for her. She leaned back in her seat for a moment, taking a deep breath, and let herself enjoy the happiness that swelled inside her chest. She didn't know it at the time, but this day would become unforgettable in more ways than she could ever imagine. For now, all that mattered was the music, the lights, and the joy of being exactly where she had always dreamed to be. And with every beat of the music, Lily felt as if her heart was dancing along with hers. The music was louder now, pulsing through the stadium like a heartbeat. Lily had been dancing and singing for over an hour, her small body buzzing with excitement. She had never felt happier in her life. Every song seemed more magical than the last. She waved her hands in the air, trying to mimic Michael Jackson's moves, spinning in her seat whenever she could. The crowd around her was alive with energy, everyone singing together, clapping and cheering. It was as if the entire stadium had become one big, joyful family. But suddenly, in the middle of a particularly fast song, something strange happened. Lily felt a sharp pain in her chest. She stopped moving, her arms dropping to her sides. At first, she thought it was just because she had been dancing so much. She tried to take a deep breath, but it felt tight, almost like her chest was squeezing in on itself. Her legs wobbled beneath her, and she gripped the edge of her seat to steady herself. "Mom. Dad," she whispered, her voice trembling. Her mother, noticing the sudden change, leaned over. "Lily, what is it, sweetheart?" Before Lily could answer, her body gave a small shudder. Her eyes widened in surprise and fear, and then she collapsed onto her seat. A gasp ran through the row behind her. Her father was immediately at her side, lifting her gently from the seat as she lay motionless. "Somebody call a medic, please," Mrs. Thompson shouted, panic rising in her voice. The commotion grew louder. Fans around them looked on with worry, some standing and craning their necks to see what was happening. Security and medical staff quickly rushed toward Lily, their expressions serious but calm. They carried equipment and moved with practiced urgency. Lily's small body was pale, and she didn't respond when her parents tried to talk to her. The paramedics checked her pulse and realized something that made their eyes widen in alarm. Her heart had stopped. Every second felt heavier than the last. The stadium that had just been filled with music and laughter was now a place of tense silence around her. Her father held her hand tightly, refusing to let go. The medical team began performing CPR immediately. One of them placed a small oxygen mask over her face, while another gently pressed her chest. Around them, the crowd was both confused and concerned, not understanding exactly what was happening but sensing the seriousness of the situation. Parents shielded their children's eyes, and fans whispered prayers quietly. Lily's mother knelt beside her, brushing back strands of hair from her face. Tears filled her eyes as she whispered, "Come on, baby girl. You've got to fight. We love you so much." Minutes felt like hours. The music from the stage had been paused, and a hush spread through the stadium. People who had been laughing and dancing moments before now stood frozen, their hearts heavy with worry. Some silently held their hands together, hoping that Lily, a little girl they had never met, would find the strength to pull through. Her small chest didn't rise as it should have, and the paramedics' urgency grew. One of them placed a defibrillator on her chest, explaining quickly to the others as they worked. Her father squeezed her hand so tightly that it left marks, but he couldn't let go. He whispered over and over, words of love and encouragement, hoping that his voice could somehow reach her, hoping it could bring her back. Time seemed to blur. Lily's small body was surrounded by a flurry of activity. Hands pressing, voices giving instructions, machines buzzing, but inside, her parents felt an unbearable stillness. They remembered all the little moments leading up to this day. Her laughter in the morning, her excitement over the concert, the way she had spun around in her jacket like a little dancer. Every memory flashed before them, and they clung to hope with all their hearts. Some fans in the crowd began to sing softly, almost instinctively, trying to offer comfort. They sang snippets of Michael Jackson songs, the very music that had brought Lily so much joy just minutes ago. Their voices were shaky, but full of sincerity. Lily's parents felt their hearts stir at the gesture. Strangers united in concern for their daughter, lending their energy and hope to her. Minutes passed. The paramedics worked tirelessly, refusing to give up. One of them carefully checked her heartbeat again. There was nothing. The silence felt endless. Her father whispered her name over and over, holding her tiny hand to his chest, hoping she could hear him. And then, after what felt like an eternity, a small, faint flutter beneath the fingertips of the paramedic's hand. A heartbeat. Weak, but there. Relief surged like a wave through everyone present. The paramedics redoubled their efforts, carefully stabilizing her, making sure her heart kept beating and her breathing returned to normal. Her mother hugged her tightly, sobbing quietly. "You're okay. You're okay, Lily. You're going to be okay." Lily's eyelids fluttered open. Her small brown eyes blinked against the bright stadium lights, confused and frightened. Her father kissed her forehead and whispered, "You did it, baby. You're safe now." The crowd, realizing that Lily had survived the terrifying moment, erupted in applause and cheers. Tears streamed down many faces, both parents and strangers alike, moved by the miraculous recovery. People hugged each other, overwhelmed by the raw emotion of the scene. The paramedics carefully lifted Lily and carried her toward an ambulance waiting outside the stadium. Her parents followed closely, their hands never letting go. Lily, though weak and scared, managed a small smile. She clung to her parents, realizing just how close she had come to losing something precious. As they drove to the hospital, the noise of the city seemed distant. Inside the car, Lily rested against her mother, exhausted but beginning to feel safe again. Her father's hand never left hers, and her mother whispered reassurances over and over. Lily drifted in and out of sleep, her small chest finally rising and falling steadily, no longer in danger. At the hospital, Doctors and nurses quickly took over. They performed careful checks, making sure Lily's heart and breathing remained steady. Her parents stayed by her side, never leaving, holding her tiny hands and speaking softly. The doctor, after a thorough examination, gave them a small but encouraging smile. "She's strong," he said. "It's a miracle she's still with us." Lily's mother broke down, hugging her husband. Tears fell freely as they both realized how close they had come to losing their precious daughter. The relief was overwhelming, and for the first time in what felt like hours, they allowed themselves to breathe. That night, as Lily lay in a hospital bed, she felt a strange mix of exhaustion and peace. The events of the day were hard for her to understand, but she could feel the love surrounding her. Her parents sat beside her, holding her hands, whispering stories of hope and courage. She realized that life could be fragile, but it was also filled with moments of love, kindness, and hope that could carry her through even the scariest times. Though the concert had been interrupted by a terrifying moment, Lily could still remember the joy, the lights, the music, and the feeling of being part of something magical. It was a day she would never forget, not just for the fear she had felt, but for the love and care that had surrounded her when she needed it most. For Lily, the experience became more than a concert. It became a reminder of the power of hope, of love, and of the people who would never give up on her. And as she drifted into a quiet sleep that night, she knew that she had survived something extraordinary, something that would stay with her forever. The ambulance sirens faded into the distance as Lily was rushed into the hospital. Her small hand was still held tightly by her father, while her mother whispered gentle words of reassurance. Every step through the hospital corridors felt like an eternity. Nurses and doctors moved quickly, guiding the family through the maze of hallways to the pediatric emergency unit. The bright fluorescent lights reflected off the shiny floors, making the hospital feel both overwhelming and unreal. Lily's tiny body rested against her mother's chest, her eyes wide but sleepy, sensing both fear and safety. Once inside the emergency room, a team of doctors and nurses surrounded her. They checked her vital signs carefully, listening to her heartbeat, watching her breathing, and monitoring her oxygen levels. The machines beeped softly, keeping a steady rhythm as the medical team worked efficiently. Her parents stayed by her side the entire time, never leaving her hand. Their eyes were full of worry, but also of hope. "Her pulse is strong now, but we need to keep her under observation," one of the doctors explained. "She's been through a lot, and her heart will need time to stabilize fully." Lily's father nodded, his jaw tight with concern. "Whatever it takes," he said firmly. "We just want her to be okay." The doctor smiled gently. "She's a brave little girl. We'll do everything we can." Lily's mother leaned down and kissed her forehead. "See, baby? You're safe now. You're really strong." Lily's eyes fluttered open slightly, and she gave a faint smile, comforted by the warmth of her parents' presence. Though she was exhausted, she could feel their love surrounding her, giving her a sense of security that calmed her frightened mind. The hospital room was quiet except for the soft beeping of the monitors and the gentle voices of the nurses. Outside, the city continued with its usual rhythm, unaware of the small miracle that had just occurred inside this room. Lily's parents sat close together, their hands intertwined, silently thankful that their daughter had survived such a terrifying moment. As Lily rested, her mind slowly began to process the events of the day. She remembered the music, the lights, and the excitement of the concert. Then, there was a sudden pain in her chest, a strange heaviness, and the world seemed to slip away. It was frightening. But now, seeing her parents' relieved faces, she understood that she was safe. She felt a strange mix of exhaustion and relief, and slowly, her small body began to relax. The doctors explained that Lily's heart had stopped for a brief moment, but thanks to the quick response of the paramedics and the care of her parents, she had survived. It was a moment that could have been tragic, but it had turned into a miracle. The nurses brought blankets and soft pillows to make her comfortable, and one of them gently brushed her hair back from her face, speaking softly to calm her further. Hours passed, and Lily's parents never left her side. They whispered stories of courage and bravery, reminding her of all the times she had been strong, like learning to ride her bicycle or performing in her school play. They told her how proud they were of her, how much they loved her, and how happy they were to have her back with them. At one point, a nurse suggested that Lily might like to hear a little music. Her father smiled and pulled out his phone, playing a soft Michael Jackson song in the background. The familiar rhythm made Lily's eyes light up just a little, and she tried to tap her small fingers along with the beat. It was a gentle reminder of the joy she had felt earlier in the day, and it helped her feel a sense of normalcy returning after the frightening events. Even though Lily was safe, her parents knew that the road ahead would require careful attention. Doctors explained that she would need rest, monitoring, and some follow-up tests to ensure her heart was completely healthy. They reassured the Thompsons that with love, care, and time, Lily would recover fully. During the evening, family and friends began to arrive at the hospital. Many had heard about the incident at the concert, and they came to offer their support, prayers, and encouragement. Some brought flowers, others cards, and all of them brought their love. Lily's parents were deeply moved by the outpouring of care. It was a reminder that even in frightening moments, there were people who would stand by them, sharing both the worry and the hope. While Lily rested, the hospital staff remained vigilant. Nurses checked her vitals regularly, and doctors examined her periodically, making sure that her heart was stable and that her body was not under strain. The monitors continued to beep steadily, a reassuring sound that reminded everyone that Lily's recovery was progressing. Lily's mother sat beside her bed, gently holding her hand and humming a soft tune. Her father sat on the other side, occasionally brushing her hair from her face and whispering words of encouragement. Their presence was a shield, a constant reminder to Lily that she was surrounded by love, safety, and protection. Even in the quiet moments, Lily's parents reflected on how fragile life could be. They thought about the concert, the moment of panic, and how swiftly everything had changed. The experience reminded them that every moment with Lily was precious, and they promised themselves that they would never take her health or happiness for granted again. As the night went on, Lily slept more deeply. Her breathing was steady, her heart was strong, and her tiny body was finally at ease. Her parents remained close, occasionally whispering their gratitude and relief. They knew that they had witnessed something extraordinary, not just the miracle of her survival, but the power of hope, love, and quick action. The hospital room, which had felt so tense earlier, now had an atmosphere of calm and warmth. The lights were dimmed slightly, and the soft hum of the machines filled the background. Lily slept peacefully, unaware of the countless people who had been thinking of her, praying for her, and hoping she would be safe. In the following hours, doctors continued to monitor her closely. Each time they checked her vitals, the results were positive. Her heart remained strong, and her breathing was steady. It became clear that Lily's strength and the quick care she had received had saved her life. Her parents listened to the doctor's explanations, feeling immense gratitude. By early morning, Lily's mother noticed a small smile on her daughter's face as she stirred. It was a sign of her resilience, her determination to keep fighting even when her body had been so weak. Her father gently stroked her hair, whispering words of love. Lily blinked slowly, her eyes meeting theirs, and in that moment, the bond between them felt unbreakable. Later, when Lily was fully awake, her parents told her how proud they were of her courage. They explained that she had been very brave, and that her actions, combined with the quick response of the paramedics, had helped save her life. Lily listened carefully, absorbing their words. Even though she was still a little frightened by the memory, she felt proud of herself too. Her hospital room soon became a place of quiet healing, filled with love, gentle music, and soft conversations. The day's terrifying events had left their mark, but they also showed how strong Lily was and how much she was loved. Her parents knew that the journey ahead would require care and attention, but they were ready to face it together, as a family. By the end of the day, the hospital staff had seen many miraculous recoveries, but Lily's story was unique. Her bravery, her parents' love, and the swift actions of the paramedics had combined to create something extraordinary. The small girl who had collapsed at a concert had survived against all odds, and everyone involved knew that this was a moment that would never be forgotten. Lily's parents held her close that night, watching her sleep. The memories of the concert, the fear, and the relief all mingled together. They thought about how lucky they were, how precious every moment with her was, and how much joy she brought to their lives. In that quiet hospital room, they felt a deep sense of gratitude for life, for love, and for the miraculous strength of their little girl. Though the events of the day were frightening, they also carried a message of hope. Lily's recovery reminded everyone that even in the most terrifying moments, love, courage, and quick action could make a difference. And for Lily, the memory of that day would stay with her forever, not just the fear, but the love and care that had surrounded her and carried her through. By the next morning, the hospital had settled into its usual rhythm. But in room 204, a quiet miracle was unfolding. Lily, the 8-year-old girl whose heart had stopped the previous day at a concert, was awake and alert. She lay in her hospital bed, small and fragile, yet full of a quiet strength that had surprised even the doctors. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, sat close to her, holding her hands and whispering softly, their eyes still a little red from the tears of the previous night. "Good morning, baby girl," her mother said gently, brushing a strand of hair from Lily's forehead. "Did you sleep well? Did you sleep well?" Lily blinked slowly and nodded. I think so," she said, her voice still soft but clear. "I feel better." She went I think so. Her father smiled and squeezed her hand. "That's because you're strong, Lily. You fought so hard yesterday, and we're so proud of you." The doctors came in shortly after, carrying clipboards and warm smiles. They checked Lily's vitals again, noting her steady heartbeat, clear breathing, and the glow of health returning to her cheeks. "Lily," the doctor said kindly, "you've been through something very serious, but your body is healing beautifully. You're strong, and your heart is doing just fine now. You truly are a brave girl." Lily smiled faintly, feeling a little embarrassed by the attention. I was scared," she admitted quietly. Her mother hugged her. "That's okay, sweetheart. It was very scary. But you stayed strong, even when things were really hard. That's what matters." The nurses began to bring in small meals and water. Lily's appetite was still small, but she nibbled at her toast and drank a bit of juice. Every bite felt like a victory. Her parents cheered softly for her, not just for eating, but for her courage, for simply being alive. As the day went on, visitors began to arrive. Family, friends, and even some of the concert organizers had heard about what had happened and wanted to see Lily. Each visitor brought gifts, flowers, and words of encouragement. Some of them had seen her collapse on television or social media, and many were amazed at how quickly she had recovered. Lily was shy at first, overwhelmed by the attention, but she began to smile more as people spoke to her gently, telling her how brave she had been. Some of the visitors brought small stuffed animals, others cards with messages of love and support. Each gift reminded Lily that she was not alone, that people all over cared about her and wanted to see her happy and healthy again. One of the nurses, a kind woman named Sarah, brought in a small music player and asked Lily what she would like to hear. Without hesitation, Lily whispered, "Michael Jackson." The nurse smiled and put on a soft song, just enough for Lily to hum along quietly. Her small fingers tapped gently on the blanket as she listened, and a faint spark of joy returned to her eyes. It reminded her of the concert, the lights, the music, and the happiness she had felt before the frightening moment. Lily's parents sat together, watching their daughter regain her strength. They spoke in hushed tones about the events of the previous day. "I still can't believe how fast everything happened," her father said. One moment, she was dancing and laughing, and the next, her heart stopped. Her mother nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. "It's scary to think about. But we were there with her, and the paramedics were amazing. I think we all learned how precious life really is." As the morning turned to afternoon, Lily's recovery continued. The doctors allowed her to sit up for a while, supporting her with pillows and blankets. She looked around the room, noticing all the gifts, cards, and flowers, and felt a warmth spread through her chest. It wasn't just the physical healing that mattered, she was also beginning to understand the kindness and love of the people around her. Her father suggested a small walk down the hospital corridor, just to stretch her legs. Lily held tightly to his hand, wobbling slightly at first, but soon she was walking steadily. Every step felt like a small triumph, and with each step, her confidence grew. Nurses and hospital staff smiled and cheered her on quietly, amazed at her determination and resilience. By mid-afternoon, the hospital room was filled with a soft, calm energy. Lily's parents talked quietly about the future, about how careful they would be, and how grateful they were to see their daughter alive and well. They knew that the day she had experienced could have been tragic, but instead, it had become a story of hope and courage. Later that evening, the doctor returned for another checkup. "Lily, you've made incredible progress," he said. "Your heart is strong, your body is healing, and your spirits are high. With a little rest, you'll be back to your normal self very soon." Lily looked up at him with a small smile. "Does that mean I can dance again?" she asked softly. The doctor laughed gently. "Yes, Lily. Soon, you'll be able to dance again. But for now, just enjoy resting and letting your body recover fully." Her mother hugged her tightly. "You'll be dancing again before you know it, baby girl. But right now, we just want you to stay healthy and strong." As the sun began to set outside the hospital window, casting a warm glow across the room, Lily's parents reflected on the day's events. They had been through fear, uncertainty, and worry. But now they were filled with gratitude. Their daughter had survived against all odds, and they knew that their family would never forget this experience. The day also brought a sense of community and support. Friends and neighbors who had heard about the incident stopped by or sent messages of encouragement. People from the concert, even strangers who had witnessed the emergency, expressed their relief and happiness that Lily was okay. Her parents felt overwhelmed by the love and care surrounding their daughter. That evening, as Lily rested in her bed, her parents shared stories of bravery and hope. They spoke of other children who had overcome challenges, of people who had shown kindness in moments of crisis, and of the power of love to heal. Lily listened quietly, absorbing every word. She felt the warmth of their love, the hope that surrounded her, and the sense of safety that came from knowing she was not alone. Before going to sleep, her mother brushed her hair back and whispered, "Remember, baby girl, you're strong, brave, and loved more than you can imagine. You survived something very serious, and now it's time to rest and get even stronger." Her father kissed her forehead and added, "Tomorrow is a new day. You'll be better, stronger, and full of life again. We're so proud of you, Lily." Lily closed her eyes, feeling comforted by their words. She could feel the love around her, the safety, and the strength that her parents' presence gave her. She drifted into a peaceful sleep, dreaming of music, dancing, and the joy that had first brought her to the concert. During the night, the hospital staff continued to monitor her closely, ensuring her heart remained steady and her breathing calm. Each time they checked her vitals, They were reassured by her resilience and progress. Her small body, which had faced such danger, was now showing remarkable signs of recovery. By the next morning, it was clear that Lily's miraculous recovery was continuing. She could sit up more easily, eat a little more, and even laugh softly at the silly faces her parents made to cheer her up. Every small milestone felt like a victory. The Thompsons realized that what had seemed impossible just a day before had become reality. Their daughter was healing, thriving, and ready to embrace life once more. The hospital had become more than just a place of treatment. It was now a place of hope, love, and celebration. Nurses, doctors, and visitors alike were inspired by Lily's courage and resilience. Her story had touched everyone who had witnessed it or heard about it, a reminder that miracles could happen when care, love, and determination came together. As the day ended, Lily's parents reflected on the journey. They had seen fear, danger, and uncertainty, but they had also witnessed courage, love, and recovery. Their daughter had faced the unimaginable and had emerged stronger, leaving a lasting impression on everyone around her. They knew that this experience would forever shape their family, teaching them the value of hope, the power of love, and the strength that lay within even the smallest hearts. The days following Lily's hospital stay were filled with relief, gratitude, and small moments of joy. She had been discharged a few days after the incident, fully recovered, but still under her parents' careful watch. Her room at home had been transformed into a comforting space, with soft blankets, her favorite toys, and a small corner dedicated to her love of Michael Jackson. There were cards and gifts from friends, neighbors, and even some fans who had heard about her experience at the concert. Every item reminded Lily and her parents of the kindness and love that surrounded them. Lily's parents were careful to make sure she took things slowly. They encouraged her to rest, to eat well, and to enjoy her favorite activities in moderation. Even the smallest things, like climbing the stairs, helping in the kitchen, or walking in the garden, were celebrated as milestones in her recovery. They wanted her to know that every step forward was important and that she had the strength to regain all the energy and joy that the concert had brought her. Her friends from school visited often, bringing smiles, laughter, and small gifts. They were curious about what had happened at the concert, and Lily shared her experience carefully, making sure to focus on the parts she remembered fondly: the music, the excitement, and the joy she had felt. Her friends listened intently, amazed by her bravery and the miraculous way she had recovered. They hugged her, praised her courage, and promised to always be there for her. As the weeks passed, Lily's confidence returned. She began to dance again, first in short bursts in her living room, and later for small family gatherings. Her parents watched proudly as she spun, clapped, and sang along to her favorite Michael Jackson songs. They noticed the spark in her eyes, the joy that radiated from her even in the smallest movements. Each dance, each laugh, was a sign that she was reclaiming the happiness that had been interrupted by the frightening day at the concert. Lily's experience had also brought her family closer together. Her parents realized how precious every moment was, how quickly life could change, and how important it was to express love and gratitude each day. They spent more time together, sharing meals, telling stories, and enjoying small adventures around the neighborhood. Lily's father even built a small stage in their backyard so she could practice dancing safely, complete with a little sound system and colorful lights. It became a place where she could express herself freely and remember the joy of the concert that had started it all. The story of Lily's bravery and recovery began to spread beyond her family and friends. Local news outlets shared her story, highlighting the miraculous way she had survived and the quick actions of the paramedics and medical staff. People were inspired by her courage and resilience, and messages of support poured in from all over. Some were from parents who had children with similar experiences, while others were from strangers who simply wanted to celebrate her life. The attention was overwhelming at first, but Lily and her parents embraced it, grateful for the positivity and love it brought. For Lily, the experience became a powerful lesson about life, courage, and gratitude. She learned that even when scary things happen, hope and love can carry you through. She learned that being brave doesn't mean never being afraid. It means facing fear with support, care, and determination. She also learned the value of kindness, seeing how strangers, friends, family, and even fellow fans had rallied around her when she needed them most. School life returned to normal, but with a new appreciation. Lily's teachers noticed a difference in her confidence and resilience. She was more patient, more empathetic, and more willing to help others. Her friends admired her strength, and she became a source of inspiration for them, showing that even the smallest hearts could carry remarkable courage. One day, her parents surprised her with tickets to another concert, this time for a local music festival. They wanted her to enjoy live music again, but they were careful to ensure she felt safe and comfortable. Lily was thrilled not just because of the music, but because she felt ready to experience the joy of live events once more. The day of the festival, she danced freely, laughed easily, and sang loudly, embracing every moment with gratitude and excitement. Over time, Lily began to share her story in small ways. She would tell friends, teachers, and neighbors about her experience at the concert, about how she had fallen sick, and how she had been cared for. Her story wasn't meant to scare anyone, it was a story of hope, courage, and survival. People listened, inspired by her strength, and many thanked her for showing that even the hardest moments could be overcome with love and care. Her parents often reflected on how the incident had changed their perspective. They had always loved Lily deeply, but the experience had taught them to cherish every moment even more. They realized that life could be unpredictable, and the smallest things like a hug, a kind word, or time spent together were precious beyond measure. They celebrated every milestone in Lily's recovery, every laugh, every dance, every joyful moment. The memory of the concert remained with Lily, but it had transformed. It was no longer just about the excitement of seeing her favorite performer live. It was also a reminder of her strength, the love of her family, and the support of people who cared for her. When she thought of that day, she remembered both the fear and the triumph, but mostly, she remembered the love and hope that had carried her through. As the years went on, Lily continued to dance, sing, and embrace life with a renewed sense of joy and gratitude. She remembered the day her heart had stopped, not with fear, but with respect for how fragile life could be, and for the power of love and care to heal even the scariest moments. Her parents encouraged her dreams, supporting her passion for music and dance, and celebrating every performance, no matter how small. Lily's story also inspired others. Her family often spoke at local community events, schools, and gatherings about courage, resilience, and the importance of quick action in emergencies. They shared the lessons they had learned, encouraging parents and children to appreciate life, to act with kindness, and to support each other in moments of crisis. Lily was proud to be part of this, showing that even at a young age, she could make a difference by sharing her experience. One sunny afternoon, Lily and her parents returned to the stadium where it had all begun. Though she was nervous at first, she felt a calm sense of pride as they walked inside. The memories of that terrifying day were still there, but they were now mixed with hope, love, and triumph. She looked around at the empty seats, the stage, and the lights, and smiled. She had survived, she had grown stronger, and she was ready to continue embracing life fully. Her parents stood beside her, holding her hands. "We're so proud of you, Lily," her mother said softly. "You've shown bravery, strength, and a heart full of love." Her father added, "Remember this, baby girl. Life can be challenging, but you have the courage to face anything, and no matter what happens, we'll always be by your side." Lily felt a surge of happiness and confidence. She knew that life could be unpredictable, but she also knew that she was strong, loved, and capable of overcoming challenges. The memory of that concert, once a source of fear, had now become a symbol of hope, resilience, and the power of family and community. In the years that followed, Lily continued to thrive. She danced, sang, and pursued her dreams with passion. She never forgot the lessons she had learned: the importance of love, the strength of courage, and the value of every single moment. Her story became one of inspiration, not just for her friends and family, but for everyone who heard it. People marveled at her resilience, celebrated her victories, and were reminded that even the smallest hearts could carry the greatest courage. Though the memory of that day at the Michael Jackson concert had started with fear and uncertainty, it ended with love, hope, and triumph. Lily's heart had stopped once, but it had started again stronger than ever. And from that moment on, every heartbeat, every laugh, and every dance was a celebration of life, courage, and the incredible power of hope. Lily's journey became a story that would live on forever, not just as a tale of danger and survival, but as a reminder to everyone that love, care, and bravery could overcome the darkest moments. And as she twirled, laughed, and danced through life, she carried that lesson in her heart, inspiring others to do the same.